Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
Well, walking into the restaurant, I guess is the word I want to use. Today I learned something brand new, but Robeks in the Harbour Center opens at 7 a.m. and we are here with Dawn and Chuck Jeffries, who are the owners. How are you guys?
We're doing great, and we appreciate you having us on.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, I'm
Well, I
glad
guess-
you know now.
I do. I guess it makes a lot of sense. I was always more of a, when my kids were in school, I was more of a, oh, can we swing by the Harbour Center and get a smoothie afterwards? Made the assumption that it was like a late morning, early lunch kind of a thing, but it really kind of makes sense because you guys are a fresh juice and smoothie bar.
We are.
Are you a restaurant or are you a bar?
Well.
No, we're more of a
Actually, I think we are classified as a QSR, which is quick serve restaurant. So if you look at data, we're in the same category as McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, all that.
No,
we're definitely a different concept than that. But our founder, his name's Dave Robertson, and this is a California concept. And he started this concept in 1996, and he was a venture capitalist, and he was looking for a meal replacement that would be a healthy alternative to, the typical fast food. And he said, well, why smoothies? He loves smoothies. And he said, well, why can't we put, some good food in a smoothie and market this thing as a meal replacement? So instead of going to Bob Evans for breakfast, you could come here, you could get a smoothie and start your day off with a good, healthy choice. And that's why we started at 7. We actually do better in the morning than we do late in the evening.
Makes perfect sense to me. Well, I guess my question is Robeks, as far as I can remember, has been, you said it started in 1996, and, we'll use the term figuratively, but it's been here at the Harbour Center in the same location pretty much forever, as far
absolutely.
I'm not real good with dates and math, but because I'm getting ready to sign a new lease, we're coming up on our 20th year anniversary. Early July of 2025, we will have been here for 20 years.
Congratulations, man. That's no small feat.
Yes. My father used to have a little poster in his office that said survival is the best measure of success. And so we've survived 20 years. I can't say it was all easy. But in 2005, July of 2005, we opened our doors, and knock on wood, we're still here. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, how did you both get into the smoothie business? Now, I want to preface this that this is, you mentioned it was started out in California, and this is a franchise. And some people will sit there and go, oh my gosh, franchise is a big old corporate thing. And, and why are you talking to franchises? Because they're a big old corporate thing. And the best way I can say is that the reason that you were in, and you got your own story, but Robeks, the name, is nothing more than an advertisement in the Capitol or What's Up or wherever it is that you're advertising. Okay, that is a monthly marketing expense for you.
Yes.
You hire local people.
Yes.
You live locally. You pay local rent. You pay it back into the community and everything else. This is not a corporate-owned thing where every profit dollar is going up to Minnesota or California or something like that.
This is true. We are definitely the only Robeks in Annapolis, the only Robeks in Anne Arundel County, and I think there's only one other Robeks in the state of Maryland. Am I right? There's one in Rockville. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I was on the website last night.
Yes,
Find a location. I was like, wow.
Yes. There's 2 of them in D.C., and I think there's 7 or 8 of them in Northern Virginia.
Mhm.
We consider ourselves a local. In fact, most people don't even know we're a franchise, which we kind of like that.
It makes sense because I mean, you could put. I'm convinced that you could put a McDonald's on 4 corners of one intersection. Exactly, do fine, but you see them all the time.
Yes.
It's like, oh gosh, there's too big of a line here. We'll go to the next one.
Exactly.
And then 20 years ago, we were really the only smoothie place around.
Yeah.
Well, what possessed you 20 years ago to get into the smoothie business?
My husband will tell you.
Okay, so I got out of college. I took a summer job putting down pavement markings for a customer. Her and I worked in a restaurant.
We met in a
She was a
restaurant.
waitress. I was a cook. And I'm going to write a country song one day that, I married the waitress, she married the cook. And there was a customer there that owned a pavement maintenance supply business. And so I worked for him for a summer. It was a one contract thing, and I had saved a little bit of money and I went in the paving business. Did that for 20 years and was getting bored. Company was doing great. I had a partner, my best friend was my partner. Shall we say we got fat and happy and we're kind of lazy. Business was doing great. And we started this concept where, okay, why don't you work a week and then I'll work a week and you work a week and I'll work a week. So I was off every other week. And I thought, this isn't going to be my final business here. I got to start thinking about what else could I do? And I think in the back of our minds, we'd always thought maybe a restaurant. But the cost of opening a restaurant and the chance of success of a restaurant are two pretty big barriers. Sure. So I'm sitting, it's 2004, and I'm sitting there one Sunday morning reading the paper, Washington Post, and they had a business section, and I saw a little blurb in there. It couldn't have been 100 words. And it said, Robeks is coming to the DC area. And I'm like, what the hell is a Robeks? I started looking into it. It mentioned a guy named Adam Perrell, who was going to be the area developer of Robeks. And I said, well, this sounds kind of interesting. So I went on the website and I thought, well, you know what? I like this idea. It's a good alternative to other fast food. And this might just work. And I figured, well, how hard can it be to run a smoothie shop? The weeks that I'm off, I can come stick my nose in here. And, I got a wife.
This sounds like it's the famous last words. It was. How hard can it be?
How hard can it be? It's a smoothie shop. And I got back to thinking probably, one of the happiest times of my life was working in a restaurant. Because when you work in a restaurant, it's a fast pace. You meet a lot of nice people. I just enjoyed being in the restaurant.
And I loved it.
And
I was a server forever, and you hand people stuff and smile and make pretty good money.
It's a happy business.
Yeah, it's a blast. I loved it.
So we had a food background, but a restaurant was maybe a little bit bigger than we wanted to do. And I thought, well, maybe I could parlay this into, maybe I could have two of these Robeks, or 3 or 4 down the road. Maybe
or
I could,
5.
Or maybe I could really make something out of this. But let's start with one. So we start with one. July of 2005, we opened our doors. First couple weeks were gangbusters, and then sales started diving. And we thought, wow, man, what's going on here? And obviously, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know anything. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to market it. We don't know how to staff it. We don't. We're just learning. After the first year, I'm ready to blow my brains out. I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Yes, but in the process, you were thinking about selling your paving business.
Well, yeah, I thought, well, I'll get rid of the paving, and I'm glad I didn't do that, because I got a wife, I got 3 kids, I got to get through college, I got a mortgage. First year it was miserable. Second year was miserable. First 5 years were miserable, to be honest with you. Sales were miserable. Nobody heard of Robeks. It was kind of a new concept. Smoothie as a meal replacement was a whole new concept. We were very fortunate. We found a young lady who had just graduated from college, was a neighbor, and she needed a job. And we put her in here. She ran the store by herself. That's how slow business was. It was a one person.
But I was here a lot too.
She was here a lot, but we realized she found like a real job, so to speak. And then it was crunch time. Then my wife here had to go to work.
I went from working part-time. I had a hair salon in my basement. So I worked part-time in the hair salon, raised kids, but now they were going to high school.
Sure.
And so this became where I hung out. And I was here full-time, and you don't take a paycheck for a while.
Yeah.
So luckily, that's where we had Chuck's paving business to save us.
Right. A lot of people don't realize the stress on a small business owner. I mean, you have to put food on your employees' tables. You have to put food on your table. There's a lot of sacrifices that most people don't realize for locally owned small businesses.
Yeah, it was difficult. First 5 years were difficult.
And then there came a time after about 3 years, because it was a lot different from me, and it was kind of grating on me. And he said after about 2.5 years, it's probably going to break even. We can go ahead and have something to sell if you like. And I said, well, I've done the dirty work now. I'm not going anywhere. And then it turned into a hobby and somewhere for me to go while the kids were all starting school, high school, and getting ready to go to college.
Wow. This is it. And here we are 25 years later. Well, they say most businesses, the first 5 years are critical. And if you can make that 5, you're okay. And it sounds like what's the old joke? It's like, we came skidding into home and for the bumper hanging off.
And we survived. The first 5 years were up, but we survived. Yeah.
But thank goodness he didn't sell his paving business because we may not have survived.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Robeks, in the most basic sense, is
smoothies, juice, bowls, and then we have a really good avocado toast.
Yes.
That's become very popular.
Okay. And again, I mean, you've got the additives and stuff like that you can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we call them boost.
Say, what's the percentage of people that come in and modify their order?
Well, it's funny because we got a pretty elaborate software system here, and I went back and I looked at last year. They had like 6 or 7 different categories of smoothies, and the number 1 category was non-category. I'm like, what is non-category? So I did a little homework. Non-category is when you come in this store and you can pick something off the menu, but you want to modify it. You want to add something or take something off or change this or whatever. And that was the number 1 category was the modified drink. So you could order a strawberry berry and add peaches to it or something.
Or a strawberry berry, take out the juice and sub almond milk.
Right. So that is
a lot of people that do that. They don't want the sugar of the juice, but a lot of people just love it the way it is.
Well, I think you guys are probably way ahead of the game, and that's probably an answer to your 5 years, I think. And because we're seeing, the change in human behavior. They're looking to more, I can't tell you the last time I got some kind of a Happy Meal at McDonald's. I do go through the drive-thru frequently to get a Diet Coke because I like their straws and their portion of ice, but that's a whole different story. But people are living a different life. I mean, they're realizing the values and the benefits of living a healthier life. This is a quick, easy way for a breakfast in a cup.
Yes.
Yes, add spinach, add kale.
Yes.
Got a few more vitamins there. We have all kinds of supplements. We have proteins.
Now, when we started out, though, we actually had 4 sandwiches and 4 salads.
Yes, and they were delicious, but we were so slow that everything was always going off. We were constantly throwing food
so
away.
Many items. The entire franchise system did away with sandwiches and salads.
Well, that makes. I mean, you've got to adjust to what the market is going to bear there.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys have been here for a long time, and you're embedded into the community. Before we started recording, you said you live right up here in Anne Arundel County, up the road, and looking at renewing another year here.
I think so. Yeah.
What's being in the community mean to you?
I tell you, we love being part of the community. Our customers, we see the same people all the time. We love that customer that comes in 2 or 3 days a week. Our first 10 years, anybody that asked us to do something, we did it. You want us to come to, the church bazaar, on Monday with 20 people, we did it. And
you were at many Annapolis Striders races.
We did it.
Yeah.
We still get involved with the DeCesaris Cancer Foundation.
Mm-hmm. We do teacher appreciation.
Teacher appreciation. They're big in the spring.
We would drop coolers off after you talk to the athletic director at high school, you can drop 100 smoothies off at the end of the football practice. So we were always somewhere dropping smoothies for free.
All that coming out of this little store.
All that coming out of this store.
Yes.
That was our market. When you first start this, how are you going to market it? And we learned the hard way. Certain things worked, certain things did not work. We actually did some radio advertising. That was great for like the grand opening. We had a booming grand opening here. A lot of it I attribute to the local radio station here. We did print. We didn't find that print did us that well. Direct mail. It's hard to measure direct mail. I didn't think that was really the right way.
Being in the community and communicating was the answer.
Don't charge. Just hand out free smoothies all day. Little 6 ounce.
Yep.
Hand out 6 ounce smoothies all day with your name on it. That was our best.
I've talked with Annapolis Subaru, and they say the best salesperson they have is the loaner cars, the cuts that they give out, which is very similar.
Yeah.
To, I mean, when I first started to drive, no car dealership would give you a loaner when it's in for service. You sat there and you waited in the horrible waiting room, and it's a totally different story. I mean, even if it's just an oil change. Well, we're going to check other things out. So why don't you maybe you can go and get breakfast or,
Right.
and I mean, they're putting me in a car, and they're hoping that I'll turn around and buy a new car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got to say that once you taste the product, the quality of the product that you guys have, you're hooked.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys obviously, as you mentioned, Dawn, you've got some people that come in here every single day. You've got some that are probably once a week, and some that are periodically. But I mean, this is if I'm in the mood for a smoothie, I mean, this is probably my this is my top choice.
Great.
Sometimes I like to come in and sneak something into the theater, even though I don't think they really care next door anymore.
A lot of people do it.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, and it's like I say, you've been here for so long, and I want to thank you for the commitment to the community. For those that don't know, it is in the Harbour Center. It is right sandwiched between the Potbelly Deli and the Landmark Theaters.
Yep.
As we look out the front window, we're looking at Ulta and Designer Shoe Warehouse. I think directly across from there.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for
20 years. 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
What gets you excited when you wake up in the morning about this?
Well, the benefits we get now as well, because it is doing well. But one of the most exciting things for me, I take great pride in loving my employees. My employees have been with me a long time. If you come to work for me, I will say, if I'm hiring you, it's easy to work for me. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. We work as a family here. And it shows how long my staff stays. And they mean a lot to me. They mean more to me than just an employee. I'm very blessed to have them.
That's refreshing. It really is, especially in the times that we're living right now with, where employees are somewhat seen as dispensable.
Yes, and I will say last year was difficult for hiring. I barely got any applications. But I worked it out with the staff I had and the few that did trickle in. And we just worked as a team and dealt with what you could deal with.
You got to get it done. Now, do you primarily hire younger people?
Absolutely.
I mean, so you're not, I'm not venture to say that you don't have lifetime employees here.
I mean,
you might have
several,
a couple,
but I will definitely hire at 15 years old. There's been many we hire at 15 and stay till college.
And there's
until they get ready to go to college.
And there's such a benefit on that because, I mean, okay, yes, at the end of the day, they're getting a paycheck.
Yes.
But what they don't know they're getting is what's valuable to them in life. When you bring in a 15-year or 16-year-old, okay, we know how to run a cash register. We know about customer services. We know about portioning, okay, if we're talking to the restaurants. We know about presentation. We know about,
absolutely.
When somebody screws
Some of them have come in and they didn't even, please dump the trash. They don't even know to put a trash bag back in the trash can. And I've worked with them when we were early on slow. And then you could tell if they were going to pick it up or not. But I loved knowing that you were giving them an opportunity.
That's funny, as you talk about didn't even know to put the trash can or trash bag in the. And I got a call from my son one time, and when he was in college, he goes, "I got to mail something. The stamp goes in the upper right corner, right?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I failed."
Well, many of them it's their first job, and they've never taken on responsibility. Just how to deal with the public is a skill. That's a skill set you got to develop.
That will take them for
Oh my gosh,
all through their life.
Yeah, you'll
there's
learn.
one thing that they all have always overridden me on, and that is that register. Any computer, they can learn in about 3 seconds compared to myself.
Not on topic, but the first time I saw an iPhone or a smartphone, I was on a plane, and there was this girl sitting next to me, and we just landed, and we were taxiing or something like that, and she pulls this thing out, and she had long fingernails, and she was just holding her hand and just whizzing away with her. I'm just looking at this in awe, going, "What's going on here in the seat next to me?"
Right.
And now here we are. We've got these things. All have them in our back pockets, and
Oh yeah.
never without. What gets you excited in the morning?
Here's what always gets me excited: when I run into someone, and somehow the conversation comes about Robeks, and I'll say,
Probably
yeah.
because you've got a sweatshirt that says Robeks.
Right. And they'll say, do you know someone? I said, yeah, my wife and I own it. You own Robeks? Especially the high school. You own Robeks? Like I'm famous, like I'm Justin Bieber or something. Like, yeah. Have you ever been? Have I been there? Yeah, I've been. That always excites me. But it's also amazing that I'll run into people. Have you ever heard of Robeks? No, I've never heard of Robeks. I don't know how you can have not heard of us, because I think every high school in the county, well, certainly with that 10-mile radius, has been to Robeks. So I always get excited when I coach volleyball at South River High School. And, early last year, one of the girls says, when are we going to have the Robeks party, Chuck? And another girl said, you own Robeks? I said, yeah. And she's like her skill level went up. She's playing volleyball for the Robeks Center. But that gets me excited when someone...
I totally agree with you. When you find somebody that's a fan,
Yes. Yeah.
and when you convert somebody into being a fan,
That's true.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So,
that's it too.
And I'm notorious for handing out a free smoothie cards. If anybody mentions it, or if I go to a restaurant, I'm always leaving free smoothie cards everywhere. And just to mention this, I'm not here as often as I used to be the first 10 years, but anytime I do stop by, there isn't a customer ever that doesn't say, are you the owner? Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, your staff, they're just wonderful. And that we take great pride in our customer service.
Yep.
And we've always believed in very, very good customer service.
And you really need to, you've obviously done a great job of training and indoctrinating and bringing them into the Robeks family that you guys have established here. But as you said, Dawn, you may not be here all the time, and you may not be here all the time. So they're the face of your business.
yes.
They're the ones that will lift you up. They're the ones that will make you shine. And they're the ones that will throw you under that bus.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They have some power, and it's refreshing to see.
Yes.
When you see an attitude like
Yes.
you've got here. I walked in this morning and it was immediate greeting.
Well, because anybody can make a smoothie. I can teach you how to make a smoothie in 30 seconds. Everybody sells smoothies now. McDonald's sells smoothies. Starbucks, everybody sells smoothies. So what's going to differentiate you from Starbucks or McDonald's? A, customer service, and B, a quality product. And that's really what's kept us here 20 years. Right. We got a great staff, and I still believe we have high quality products in this store. So.
When you walk in the morning and you're in the mood for a smoothie, or maybe the afternoon or the evening, what's your go-to?
Well, actually, I've become a nighttime guy. We sell a bowl called an acai bowl, and it's acai in a bowl with fruit on top. And we stock them. We have a freezer home. I stock them up.
Okay, so the acai bowl,
That's my go-to.
that's your go-to?
Yeah.
And mine is usually acai energizer. I love the acai or the mahalo mango. Either one. I love them both.
They're both good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's
What's yours? What's your go-to?
I'm real basic. Just give me like a strawberry smoothie or something to eat that. It's funny. Your story is very, very similar. Do you know Kona Ice? And
I know.
Yeah. He goes by Kona Ken, and again, he was in the telecommunications business before, and he just said, this is just too much. He ended up buying the local franchise of the Kona Ice. The same thing. He says, I am not out on all of my trucks, so I need to make sure that my people are as happy and as excited to be here as I am.
Yes.
And again, he's got a very defined flavor of his go-to. And I'm like, just give me the cherry Kona Ice. I'm kind of good with it as far as basics go. But are there any secret menus on Robeks? You said there's so much customization that people are like, they make their own. I know like sometimes they say like some of the places.
We have periodically specials that come out. They'll launch this year was one of the first years they did a holiday smoothie. It was very nice. And then we have a fall smoothie. But then they bring something out probably about every 3 or 4 months that they'll feature and send us new literature on and new posters.
Do they have a giant smoothie kitchen in California somewhere where they're divided?
They have a test kitchen.
They do have a test kitchen, and it does take them a while to get them together, but they do quite a bit of it, but more than they used to.
In a franchise concept, what is the franchisor going to give you? He's going to give you marketing. He's going to give you training. And the best thing he gives you is called supply chain. You can't just go to the local grocery store and go buy strawberries. It doesn't work like that. So he's giving you the source for every product in here. He's giving you a supply chain because the franchisor wants the Robeks in Annapolis to taste like the Robeks in LA,
Certainly.
the Robeks in Connecticut. And so supply chain is a big deal. And you can see on our walls, we have charts. Those charts have the ingredients to every smoothie. There's nothing on that chart that you can't go buy at the local Giant store.
If
It's different. It's not going to be, I'm a big quality guy. We're buying quality products.
And it's proprietary for
They're proprietary,
Robeks.
right? So, well, the frozen, what they call hard pack, which is the yogurts, fruit.
The frozen fruit, the IQF, fresh frozen.
They're
fruit.
made for Robeks. They are a proprietary item.
That says an awful lot because I've gone in. I've bought I'll pick on Giant, but some Giant brand spices, for barbecuing or something like that. And then I go in and buy a McCormick brand spice or some other brand spice, and it's
different.
It's worlds apart. Or even go off the top end and get some of the special rubs and stuff like that specialize in that. So that's really huge. And I mean, that you've got a unique source. And again, it's very much like a McDonald's thing. I know if I get a Big Mac down the road, it's going to taste just like a Big Mac up the road.
Yes,
and absolutely, and that's good. And when you do stumble across another Robeks, the only other one in Maryland is in Rockville.
Yeah,
that's it's just going to be the same as it is here in Annapolis.
And I'll tell you that is a tribute to a huge company like McDonald's. You can walk into a McDonald's in China and get a Big Mac, and it tastes like the one. That sounds like such a simple thing. To do that is a hard thing to do.
It really is. It's funny because back when I was traveling a lot, my sort of go-to on the road kind of hotel was a Holiday Inn.
Mm-hmm.
And people ask me, why is the loyalty to Holiday Inn? And it's not very luxurious. It's not very... The rooms are clean. The bathrooms are clean. The beds are relatively comfy. They're not the whole sleep comfort beds and all that stuff, which is what I would do on a vacation with a family.
Right.
But I said, it's the consistent.
Exactly.
And I can go to one in South Carolina, or I can go to one in Ohio, and there may be a few little things that are off. I mean, you may have an Old Bay. There's something here that they don't have out in Seattle.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency. Absolutely.
What has been? I mean, I think I know the answer is the first 5 years. What's been the toughest challenge running of Robeks?
We were talking about that this morning. I would say containing costs. Our average sale is $14. That's our average. If I looked it up. We had 64,000 orders last year. Average cost $14. That's a lot of money to pay for a smoothie. But we're not getting rich here. And I know a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to go to Robeks because I'm not going to pay, $14. I'm going to go somewhere else. I can get one for $2. Everything goes up. Our rent goes up. Our labor goes up. The cost of our products, our electricity, our insurance. When we started, I think the average sale was $6.50. Now it's $14. And it's not like, we're not getting rich doing this. We make a little bit of money off of it, but it's keeping the cost down is really, really hard. And I would say that's the biggest challenge.
In this economy, I mean, prices are going up everywhere, and I don't think anybody expects to see prices go down or stay the same, throughout the day. So I mean that's totally understandable. And you talked about the quality and that you have. Yes, I can go to 7-Eleven and I can get an icy drink.
Correct.
And I can spend $1.09 for it.
Right.
Which is fine. If that's what I want. But if you're looking for quality, if you're looking for the customer service, if you're looking for the care, and more importantly, from my angle, is the support of a local business.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it here at Robeks.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. So the biggest challenge for me is,
what's been the most rewarding thing?
The ups and downs of 20 years. First 5 years were tough. Second 5 years were like break even. Just surviving the day and COVID. I thought COVID might do us in, but luckily we were able to stay open. We had some tables in. We had to get rid of the tables. Everyone had to be on a mask.
And again, the employees got together and they put a schedule together so they'd all get even hours.
So COVID was a challenge.
COVID is, for as bad as it was, it really opened up a lot of eyes as to what is possible
Right.
and what can be done.
Yes.
I think that's a benefit if anything out of that.
And you mentioned, being local. I mean, we patronize local. I'm not going to disparage anybody, but we don't normally eat out at the franchise places. We like to support local businesses. The money stays in the Annapolis area. We support them. They support us.
Well, it does. It always starts on the main
COVID taught me that.
It all starts on a main street.
Yes.
And whether Main Street is here at 2466 Solomon's Island Road, or whether it starts on Main Street on Annapolis or West Street or wherever it is, I mean, it really does start with the small businesses.
Absolutely.
Okay, because, as you said that, Chuck, you're not making gobs of money. Okay, there's no retirement part, place in Tahiti. You didn't come here on the private jet.
Nope.
But the money that you do make out of this is going back into the local economy. It's going into, helping out other small businesses that are in your neighborhood, that are in my neighborhood. That's what makes America grow. That's what really makes America grow. It's not like a political statement, but when you think about it, you look at Dick's or Best Buy, they do employ some local kids. Okay.
Yes.
They pay them the minimum wage or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Some local people, and there's some managers and stuff like that. And I don't want to fault them for that. But in the end of the day, there's a profit that's there. We're all in business to make money.
Yes.
So there is a profit there. And, in Dick's, it goes to Oliphant in Pennsylvania. And I think for Best Buy, it goes up to Minnesota or to Minneapolis.
Right.
And it needs to come back and it needs to stay here. And somebody told me the other thing. He said that, do you know why it's so important to buy local? Because if you don't, it might be buy local, BYE.
That's a good point. That's good.
And I'm like, that really sort of says it well. I don't buy with the U, local. You might be saying bye to local.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to thank you both so much. Not so much for coming here today, or actually I came here, but for what you've done for the community for 20 years. I wish you all the success for the next 20.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you guys have any plans for expansion? I know you said you initially said, we'll do 3-4 plans.
We had plans for opening one in Crofton, and we came within inches of signing a lease. Opening a business is hard. And the first 5 years are real hard. And after giving a lot of thought, we kind of backed out the last minute. It would have been a killer location. We were very close to the new high school. Gold's Gym would have been our neighbor.
Okay.
It definitely was a good location
But at some point you got to look at what are you willing to take on.
for the next 5.
It's a 5-year ordeal to get a business up and going, and we just weren't. Mainly her.
It was mainly me. I
fair.
just
She
didn't
wasn't
want to
willing to
take
take
on
it.
anymore. It was time for me to go travel, or us to go travel. He was getting ready to retire. My mom was sick at the time. So there was a lot of reasons that I just wasn't as on board as I was at the beginning.
So to answer your question, we're probably not looking to expand.
No, but we aren't. But someone else definitely should.
We'd love to see more of these in the area.
Yes.
Well, I think we could use more of them.
I agree.
A Robeks
I agree.
I feel a good investment if you have something to back you the first several years.
Yeah, I wouldn't quit your day jobs.
Yeah. True. And to your thing too, also establishing what was the classification of fast?
QSR, quick service restaurant.
As far as the investment goes into buying the franchise and the fit outs and everything else that goes with it, is so much less than if you were to build a full service restaurant, also the kitchen and everything. This is
Absolutely.
Less staffing also.
Yeah.
A lot of less headaches.
There was somebody else that also told me, he said, when you look to open your own business, first of all, you got to figure out how much money you need to open up and double it.
And then double. That is, you are so on point with that. You are so on point with that. We, if you don't mind me giving you numbers, we were told it's going to be about $250,000 to open the store. We were all in for about $350,000.
Yeah.
So that was a $100,000 surprise there.
Well, the corollary to that one is, especially in Annapolis City, if not Anne Arundel County, is this: if you think it's going to take you 6 months to get it open,
Let's double it.
Double it.
Double it. That's. And if you think you're going to make $50,000 the first year, cut it in half.
And there were other locations that we had looked at, but my husband is pretty business savvy and he knew he wanted this spot. So we took the hit of not going to
We
other
got lucky with this
locations and we chose this spot. knowing that it was maybe a little more money to start out with.
I've heard that Harbour Center is, and before we recorded, we talked about TGI Fridays being at one point the highest grossing, or not grossing, but the highest per square foot in the chain, and it was corporately owned. But I've heard that aside from like the King of Prussia Mall complex, that this complex on a per square foot is one of the top in the nation.
I would imagine.
When do you think our own little Harbour Center? I mean, it's got what, 30, 40 stores, something like that.
We've seen many of the big chain stores go in and out of
Whole
here.
Foods was here. They left.
When we arrived, Whole Foods was here.
Young.
Bed Bath & Beyond,
Rodersville.
Tower Records,
Office Depot.
Office
Depot.
House here.
Yes, and they all left,
Oh, I miss
which
Tower
was
Records.
helpful for us.
I miss records.
Yeah.
They're making a comeback.
Yeah, they are.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so
on
much.
20 years. I look forward to seeing what the next 20 or so hold.
Thank you.
And get out to Robeks. All I can tell you is in the Harbour Center. It's right between the theater and the Potbelly. And if you want a good, healthy, good for you drink, and there are some bad for you stuff here too. Okay,
Yes.
man does not live on kale alone. Thanks.
True.
No.
This is true. This is true.
But get on out to Robeks. You can get their information at robeks.com, and you can get there. That's the corporate website. But come out and see the great folks that are working here. See, Chuck and Dawn, who are here making it all happen for 20 years. I want to thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing this, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.